What's going on, everybody? It's me, Shane, and I'm here to give you a Netflix anime review. Not really much of a recap. It's really hard to do recaps when it comes to Netflix animes because they give you a bunch of stuff at one time. It's either 8 episodes or 16 episodes, and if it was episodic coming out every week, I would do that. But just gonna give you a whole chunk, give you a series overview on some of the things I know. And today's is Yasuke. Yasuke. So, what or who is Yasuke? Yasuke is the legendary black samurai, the only person, black person slash person of African descent, non Japanese person, to serve as a samurai. This anime is starring, well, the dub is starring uh, Keith Steinfeld, famous. Come on, guys. What is he? He's in Get Out. He's in Pardon Interruption. Um, he's in so much other stuff. I cannot remember what else he's in. Snowden and Black Judas. So pretty reputable actor. I got some notes here. I got some stuff over here to look at too. We're gonna go ahead and get right on into it. So let's do some cultural background on Yasuke first. And first, I want to tell you to please comment, subscribe, and hit me a like. All those things help. We're very close to 100 subscribers. So let's do a little history thing. And another intrusion I'm going to put in there is that there has been some people, some super woke black people, that for some reason think that the tale of Yasuke is just a fabrication to try to, I guess, trick black people or appease black people. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. That's really stupid. Um, First of all, from my knowledge of the Japanese people, Japanese culture, and talking to native speakers from there, and people who traveled there, they tend to like people of color, especially when it comes to like our style and things like that. Um, but I don't think they would like us enough to kind of self-insert us in a time where they didn't even want to make women into the equivalent of samurai. They don't call them samurai. They're called something else that literally means like battle maiden. Which there's a character in this anime that's actually a battle maiden. Natsuru. That's her name. I got it right here actually. Oh, Natsumaru. Natsumaru. So I don't see why they would make this up. I don't see why this would be a fabrication. There's old paintings depicting Yasuke. There's literally dozens of tales that have been based around this character, even before he got a rise in popularity, which was actually due in part to Chadwick Boseman was supposed to play Yasuke in a film, depicting him. Probably would have wished Yasuke would have came out before The Last Samurai, which made no sense. But regardless, this film is produced by LaShawn Thomas. LaShawn Thomas, who also did Cannon Busters. Yeah, I still got to do a review on that. I haven't forgotten. Cannon Busters. This guy's had his fingers in everything. And I'm just going to go through because he's not just a television anime producer. He's a director, animator, comic book artist, writer, character designer, storyboard designer. He's worked on Black Dynamite. He's worked on Legend of Korra. Uh, he's famously gotten awards for Boondocks, but that's just not it. He's done Ken Possible, Ben 10, Alien Force, Batman Brave and the Bold. He was also a storyboard artist for Lizzie McGuire. Doing she had little cartoons in her show too. And the other one, he was in Ninja Turtles. He's the dude. I believe he lives in Japan, but he works very closely with these studios, and he does a really good job of adapting black stories or stories that mainly have black characters in them, like Cannon Busters, and bring them to life. If his name is attached to it, the art is gonna be great. And actually, the art is done by Mappa. Who's Mappa? Is doing the final season of Attack on Titan. They've done the Dorihito movie. They've done Yuri on Ice, which I haven't watched, but I heard it was good. Um, they're gonna do Chainsaw Man, and the other one that they've done is Jujutsu Kaisen. If you like Jujutsu Kaisen, you're gonna like the animation for this. I guarantee it. What else do we have? Oh, so to get back to who was Yasuke, the Black Samurai, much the story in this anime is actually very. It's almost a one to one. Like they paid attention to what happened to him and did a really good job of adapting all that. Yasuke was traveling with the Portuguese Jesuits. Of course, they taught him. They taught him. I believe he taught him Japanese and mainland Chinese because at that time Chinese was still very much spoken in a lot of areas in Southeast Asia. And Nobunaga saw him. It's the first time he ever saw a black man before, but it's actually believed that there were probably several slaves that were with the Jesuits, but I believe Yasuke was the first one that he actually saw amongst this group of people, and was actually probably the only one to actually stay there in Japan. Uh, the tale goes that they told him to wash him up because Yasuke is over 6 feet tall, giant build, wild hair. Washed him up. His skin didn't get any lighter, and of course he's black man. It's actually believed two places that they believe that Yasuke came from was either the Sudan or I can't remember the other area in Africa. I want to say Ethiopia. Yes, it was Ethiopia. Just because of his name, they think they got Yasuke from either Yusuf or Yasake. I If I'm saying those names wrong, I apologize. But yeah, he not only joined Nobunaga, he became more of a. I don't want to say it. He wasn't a vassal, but kind of like a confidant. Had a very close relationship with him. Ended up becoming his weapons bearer, and was trained to be a samurai. He was at his side. He's actually at his side at the Honnoji incident, which is where one of Nobunaga's generals, I believe his name is Mitsuhide Ashi. Well, I can just look it up right now. His name was. I was right. Aketsuki Mitsuhide. When the generals had turned on him, Nobunaga famously wanted to unite all of Japan. So he was he was taking down like kingdom after kingdom, or empire ship after empire ship, just trying to get everybody together. And one of his generals turned on him, and Yasuke was actually there when Nobunaga committed seppuku. Now, generally, for this act, you have to gut yourself, and someone close to you beheads you, so the enemy can't take your head and they can't claim it's a victory. This actually happens in this anime, and it was believed that it was probably Yasuke who did the beheading because he was there with Nobunaga. He had then escaped to help Nobunaga's son. Unfortunately, after that battle, they lost. There are rumors that believe that Mitsuhide um, wasn't going to kill him. Said he's neither a man, he's not Japanese, he's just an animal. And they believe they either returned him to the Jesuits or probably locked him up for the rest of his days. But after that battle with Nobunaga's son, no one heard from Yasuke ever again. In the anime, we have people that have special abilities like magic. A quick these 8 episodes, I believe in like at least the first 4, we are going back and forth flashbacks of Yasuke's past as well as the present, and it does a good job of starting off showing a young Yasuke fighting beside Nobunaga. The daimyo is trying to take over. Of course, they were actually betrayed by Mitsuhide, and one of the coolest things, you have a character that took an arrow, threw the arrow, made multiple arrows, and he was on the good guy side. But they had sages and magicians on the bad guy side, and of course they lost. And in this timeline, in this era, the daimyo is working with the Europeans and the Westerns and the Jesuits, and so everything is just, people are afraid to do anything. And apparently, the daimyo has lived for centuries by sapping energy. Now, what does that have to do with Yasuke? Well, Yasuke is living in solitude. He doesn't want to be bothered with anybody. He doesn't even acknowledge that he is or was a samurai. But there's in the village he's staying at, he's helping this young boy Ichiro, training him because he wants to be a samurai. Well, of course, trouble finds him when there's this young girl. Sorry, this young girl who is getting sick, and her mother. There's Saki and Ichika. Well, Saki's not getting sick. Saki has a special ability that is, if she can't control it, it's going to kill her. After this coercion, Yasuke agrees to help. But spoiler, Ichika ends up dying, but she dies in a fight that they have with some, I want to say mercenaries. Really, this stuff is brutal. Like, I don't, if it's not as brutal as other anime shows, blood and guts, although you do get to see Nobunaga's seppuku. Uh, Fast forwarding through, Yasuke has a relationship with Saki. They end up growing close. He gets her to her destination to the doctor that happened to be the guy who threw the arrows and made multiple arrows. We have characters that I won't say they turn mercenaries will work for whoever. They're fighting down. He has a good fight fighting one of the daimyo's soldiers generals who is a female. Ends up seeing Mitsuhide again, who betrayed them. Got that revenge, and everything. It seems that he has made amends with an ongoing thing in his backstory. Is that he ends up killing Natsumaru. You have a black man in the court. You have a woman in the court. They were both outsiders. It turns out she was actually working for Hanzo Hitari. She was an Iga ninja, or part of the Iga village. A deep woven thing in his backstory is him regretting killing her because they truly loved one another. And it's some hints that Ichika was probably part of that village too because she had the same type of charm. We get some nice wrapping up of his story. I'm being personally, I'm hitting certain highlights and I'm being kind of vague because you should definitely give this a watch. I actually encourage you guys to watch everything I talk about. But regardless, he does a good job of him. He ends up befriending Natsuru and actually becoming part of Nobunaga's court by defending her younger brother. She couldn't intervene, but he did, being a foreigner. And one of the great jobs that being a foreigner, but one of the great jobs they did, it takes a village to raise a child. That is actually an African proverb, and he says that multiple times. He says a lot of things that are integrated into who he is as a character. And they did a great job of kind of hinting that they could do a season two if they wanted to, and I kind of want them to, because now sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want with his story, just don't make him regress as a character. And yeah, that this is who Yasuke was. This is what Yasuke anime is. This is the story. So, what do I feel? Music is amazing. The only problem I have is the song's done with, I want to say, Flying Lotus, and I can't remember the other producer. The opening song doesn't fit for me. Although instead of this soundtrack being like Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, which is just like jazz and hip hop, they decided to do the music to go along with Yasuke's emotional progression. Uh, the soundtrack's out there; it's like 43 minutes, but all the songs are his emotional progression, what he's feeling throughout the series. Especially the ending song is amazing. I don't really like the opening song; doesn't fit. It's too, I don't want to say airy, but it's too mythical-ish for me. It doesn't sounds more like a R&B ballad. Not even an R&B ballad. It's hard to describe it. I suggest you listen to it, but it doesn't fit for me. Not like Cannon Buster's opening, which I have some issues with that, but I'll talk about that when I get to that video. The animation, like I told you before, Mappa, Mappa, really good animation, smooth animations. I'm talking when you see Yasuke do his sword fighting, whether it's in the past or in the present, very very slick movements, really really good. The story, there's twofold on the story. The story, I really enjoy how they took real events and wove them into this fantasy world where there are some people with powers, some people are not. Funny enough, Yasuke does not have special abilities. He is just really good with the blade. To the point, he's really good with the blade. He's a really good strategist to the point where it's almost supernatural. Kind of like how Batman doesn't have any powers except his power being his mind and his money. On the flip side, I've seen complaints of wishing that the story was more so centered around Yasuke, because very much so, it's the girl is the objective. He is she is the one who he's protecting. She is the one that the bad guys want. He's in the way of it because the one thing Yasuke will not do, he will not he doesn't let children get hurt, especially, and he won't attack. He won't. Here's the thing about attacking unarmed women. Here's the thing with fighting women, which is funny because we have a Russian character who's a werebear, and she tears his butt up. Tears his butt up good. One with the scythe almost gets him, but he gets his butt whooped pretty good in the early beginnings. Which I guess that's a tiny pet peeve for me when you have a character that is skilled because yeah, when I mean skilled, Yasuke is old. When he's with Nobunaga, I forget how much time has passed since his failure, but at this time he's an old man. The one other black man that's in here calls him an old man, and I think he's maybe in his middle 40s. Still moves very well, but you can see the wear on him when he's fighting these supernatural people. He gets tired, he gets winded. He's not young like he used to be, but he has the knowledge and the experience to get through these battles. Um, characters. I enjoyed most of the characters are really good. The Daimyo, they did a great job of making you hate her. And the only issue I have now we're gonna get into my issue. My only issues is when you get to the last, and again, spoiler, when you get to the last few episodes, there are characters that die that I have so much problem with. Like we finally get we get bad guys, some of these bad guy characters on our side, and one gets killed in the most messed up way possible. They don't let you see her face after she gets killed. The other character suicides because of that death, and then the other character, the werebear lady, we see her get done in so badly. Like wow, like the way they do her is just I didn't think they were going to go that far. It's gory. We do keep some of the important some of those important key characters that have names and are pretty cool. We do get to see them around, but wow, I was kind of disappointed that a lot of the great female characters were taken out, especially when we see Natsuru was killed in the past, but then Ishika, I would have loved to see what type of fighting she was able to do because she was helping Yasuke out in episode 1 very, very well. But again, there's a rule. There's a rule in shows, animes, and video games. If you don't see a body, the person's not dead. That's why I think we should revisit this because I didn't see a body, so I don't think she's actually dead. What else do I have? Other than the song that I mentioned, the opening song, the subs for this is weird. So yes, outside of Lakeith Stanfield, Natsumaru, which is an interesting name because Maru usually put at the end of a boy's name. I see why they did that though. Natsumaru, she's actually played by Ming-Na. I didn't know that until I was doing my research so I can do this video. Those are two of the big names, and the funny thing is, he does say uh, phrases in Japanese. There is no honor here. There is only pain and death. He says that in Japanese. Crazy thing is, for the subs, they narrate everything. Whooshing sound, clanging sound, ethereal sound. He says in Japanese, and he's saying this as we look at it in subs, and pardon me, it is a one for one translation because in Japanese they're saying, hey, he's saying that in Japanese. I'm assuming that all these characters are then speaking English. That's just one of the weird things. But I do appreciate it because if you are hearing impaired, you will know what's going on. It's also hinted very heavily that I thought that this other character was Nobunaga's son, but it's hinted very heavily that Nobunaga was actually gay, which was pretty interesting. Um, there being gay political officials in Japan is nothing new. Please do your history. That's nothing new within their history. Um, they just phrased it a different way, but I thought that was kind of interesting. That instead of it being his son, it might have been his lover. Maybe I'm missing something. I probably won't give this another watch. I got a lot of backlog, but yeah, just the subs was so weird for me. But again, I took long language courses in Japanese. I'm trying to get myself better with the language, and in my opinion, I actually prefer hearing this in Japanese because that's what Yasuke would speak. I mean, I enjoyed it in English, but I mean in Japanese, I enjoyed it with the subs. That's just how I watch most animes, even Cannon Busters. I even watch most American animes in Japanese. But if you want to hear this in dub, there's actually no problem to it. It's whatever you prefer. All in all, it's not it's not a super stupendous show, and it's not bottom of the barrel. I am going to give it a 4 out of 5. Not It's not like your average anime. The the inspiration for it is amazing. The way they adapted the story is also amazing. I would like to see on when you do a second season of this. I want to see the second season of this, and if you give me 6 or 8 episodes, I want there to be another villain. But I need this villain to have more of a connection to Yasuke, not just Mitsuhide. Mitsuhide, he does show up in this. You should really watch this to see what happens to him. But all in all, good show, great animation, not spectacular, doesn't suck. I give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, and that's pretty much my feelings on Yasuke. Just Yasuke, but I call him Yasuke Black Samurai. It's on Netflix. Every episode is, I think every episode is like 23 to 30 minutes. Not really that long to watch. I like taking my time with things. I do not like binging things. That's just me. I don't feel like I'm absorbing the information when I do things very late or when I binge things. I want to give you guys the best. So, 4 out of 5 for Yasuke. Please let me know if you've seen Yasuke. What do you think of it down below? Where do you think they can actually take this anime and this story? I'm actually very curious about that. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Please remember to like and subscribe. Hit the notification button to get notified of more videos like this. I promise you, I've not forgotten about the Cannon Busters review, and I'm actually trying to get through an anime so I can watch its animated movie. Wink, wink. Um, and typically, again, for movies, I don't do word for word a lot of the times. I just give you the good spots. Thank you for giving me a piece of your time. I really appreciate you. Be good, be blessed. Wash your hands, wear your mask. Black Lives Matter. And don't be a jerk. Be good to yourself, which will help you be good to others. And I will definitely see you next time.